Tonight, a live look at the Skyway Bridge. It is the gateway to the port of Tampa Bay for ships carrying everything from what we buy in stores to cars to the gas we use to run them.
And so far this year, nearly 5,000 ships have been delivered without incident by the Tampa Bay harbor pilots.
And tonight we take you on their unusual and sometimes dangerous journey as we hop on board with the pilots of Tampa Bay.
I just call us like glorified valley drivers, you know?
Amid the breathtaking beauty of Tampa Bay, there is a constant current of change.
We got to be on our game all the time in any weather condition.
A place where a restless ocean requires a calm voice.
Go to pitch 4 there, Bert.
And a steady hand.
You really do have to know how to work under pressure. You got to be on point all the time.
A journey that can turn from peaceful to perilous in a matter of seconds.
You got to be quick on your feet.
It's 4 a.m. and Tampa Bay harbor pilots Brett Monti and Tevin Freeman are on the clock. They're boarding a small boat and heading toward 2 big ships in the pitch-black Gulf of Mexico.
It's a petroleum barge. It's 700 feet long by 106 feet wide.
For Tevin, last-minute preparation is paramount.
You have to know this port in and out from memory. Depths of different obstructions that can be a hazard to navigation, range of tide, and different things like that, weather.
And no matter how rough the seas, the harbor pilots have to climb from their moving boat to a moving ship in the Gulf.
We bring in everything from yachts to container ships that are now almost 1,200 feet long, and you know, every one of them is different.
On this day, Brett is piloting a 524-foot tanker carrying molten sulfur.
Slow astern.
His job, to safely deliver the ship, crew, and contents to Port Tampa Bay. Brad Walton is the captain.
He's navigating, obviously, direction. We're monitoring speed, anticipating traffic movements, upcoming turns, and how the vessel's going to slide into a turn, stay steady on a turn. So my role was to basically follow what he is doing.
After years of study and intense testing,
006.
the 21 harbor pilots know this journey intimately, but a majority of the visiting ship captains don't.
A lot of new ships come to the port, and that's where the relationship for the pilot is critical.
It can be a tight squeeze under the Skyway Bridge. Clearance for some ships is less than 2 feet. Knowing the tides, currents, and wind restrictions is imperative. So is staying in the center of the channel.
Skyway Bridge. The Skyway Bridge is down.
Nearly 35 years ago, a sudden squall sent a freighter into a Skyway Bridge support column, causing it to collapse. 35 people on the highway above plummeted to their deaths.
The last I remembered, it was just going off the bridge, and then next thing I knew I was in the water.
John Laro was the harbor pilot. While a judge ruled it wasn't his fault, Laro told me 10 years later he couldn't forgive himself.
I definitely have had plenty of feelings of unworthiness for screwing up and injuring people. I never knew injuring human beings, killing.
It's something that everybody knows about and thinks about and helps make judgment calls based off of weather conditions and operating.
During Hurricanes Helene and Milton, many of the navigational aids used by the pilots were damaged or destroyed. Some buoys are still unlit. The pilot station on Egmont Key is pretty much a total loss. The dock, boathouse, spare parts, and electronic equipment all destroyed.
We've got a tiki hut thing hanging out right here in the middle of the channel.
Even with high-tech equipment, it's often the eyes of the pilots that spot potential problems. Pleasure boats around places like Beer Can Island.
We do our best to limit the wakes, but these ships are getting bigger.
Planes flying in and out of Peter O'Knight Airport.
Let me know when these guys come up on you.
Even rowing teams are obstacles to a safe journey.
A lot of times people are just totally unaware, I think, of the speed, the size, and what's at stake if, something goes wrong. It's not going to stop on its own in less than a mile, at least a mile, if not longer.
The channel going into Port Tampa Bay is narrow and often crowded. This ship is 524 feet long, but some of the ships are more than 1,000 feet long. For comparison, the tallest building in Tampa is 579 feet.
I was on Channel 14 and concerned traffic.
It's kind of like trying to park a vehicle up to 1,200 feet long at Raymond James Stadium on game day.
And luckily technology's improved, right? But the ships have also doubled in size, tripled in size.
As this journey ends, the next trip is just hours away for a pilot raised far from the ocean.
I grew up in Kentucky, so this was all foreign to me.
And one born in the British Virgin Islands who've landed their dream job.
6 years old. I took my first cruise, told my dad when I walked on I wanted to be a ship captain, and yeah, here I am.
From container ships.
No shipping, no shopping.
To cruise ships.
Enchantment of the Seas, outbound Gaston Cut.
To super yachts belonging to billionaires. The vessels vary, the conditions change, but the core mission of the Tampa Bay pilots remains the same.
Basic principles are people, assets, environment. They're always looking ahead, planning for the next move. It's definitely chess, not checkers.
It is quite a journey there, and because the Tampa Bay Harbor pilots have the longest transit in the state of Florida, the weather can change dramatically. I saw that during one of my trips with them, where the winds turned from calm to nearly 44 miles an hour in a matter of minutes. And that's why their knowledge of conditions, currents, and tides is so critical.